Chapter 2. A meeting in the forest. Ollie woke up the next morning to the sound of the wind playing with the windows. He grabbed a small bag, putting in some food and water, then looked around at the home he grew up in. He knew that his departure might be long, and he might never return. Without saying goodbye to anyone, he left the village in silence, following the map he had obtained the night before. After hours of walking, he found himself deep in a dense forest. The tall trees blocked the sun, and the strange sounds of wild animals surrounded him from all sides. This forest was mysterious. He had never heard of it before, yet it felt oddly familiar. As he walked, Ollie felt something moving behind him. He paused for a moment, then continued walking. But the sounds grew closer. Suddenly, a young girl jumped in front of him, holding a small sword and looking as if she had been expecting to confront him. "Who are you?" she asked sharply, her eyes watching every move he made. Ollie was taken aback and said, "I'm Ollie, just a traveler passing through the forest. I don't want any trouble." The girl looked at him skeptically, then lowered her sword slightly. "I'm Layla, and this forest is not a safe place. If you are truly a traveler, you need to be careful." "I know," Ollie replied. "I'm on a mission to find the lost book of wisdom." When Layla heard him mention the book, her expression changed. "The book of wisdom? Are you joking?" she asked in astonishment, as if she couldn't believe what she had heard. "I'm not joking. I was given this map by a strange man, and he said I was the chosen one to find the book." He then pulled out the map to show her. Layla examined the map intently. "This is impossible. I've been searching for that book too, but for different reasons. The book of wisdom holds secrets that could destroy the world if it falls into the wrong hands." "Are you saying you know about it?" Ollie asked in disbelief. She nodded. "Yes. But I'm not looking for it for wisdom as you think. There are people who want to use the book to control the world, and I'm here to stop them from finding it." Ollie looked at Layla suspiciously. "And how do I know you're not one of them?" Layla smiled coldly and said, "If I wanted the book, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. I would have killed you and taken the map." Ollie swallowed hard and felt uneasy, but he realized they had to cooperate. The forest was dangerous, and enemies were everywhere. "All right, it seems we have to work together, at least until we get out of this forest." Layla agreed, saying, "But be careful. Trust is a precious thing in this world. If you betray me, I won't hesitate to end it." The two began walking together through the forest. Layla's eyes carefully monitored every movement around them. She knew that danger was not far away, and she had to be ready for any sudden attack. As they progressed through the forest, the sky began to cloud over, and the ground became wet and slippery. In a moment, they heard heavy footsteps approaching from afar. They tried to retreat, but suddenly a group of men appeared before them, looking like thieves living in the forest. "What do we have here?" someone said in a rough voice as he approached them. "Lost travelers in the woods? Perhaps you have something valuable we can use." Ollie realized that this encounter would be dangerous. He looked at Layla, who had already drawn her sword and was ready to fight. Ollie, who was not accustomed to combat, felt fear, but he gathered his courage. The thieves lunged at them, and a fierce battle began. Layla fought with exceptional skill, moving swiftly and delivering lethal strikes to the foes. As for Ollie, he tried to defend himself as best as he could, but it seemed he was no match for these trained thieves. As the fight intensified, one of the thieves managed to grab Ollie and put a dagger to his neck. "If you move, I'll kill him," the man shouted at Layla. Time seemed to freeze for a moment, and everything felt like it was over for Ollie, but he saw an extraordinary determination in Layla's eyes. With agility and speed, she threw a small knife hidden in her belt at the man holding Ollie. The knife struck his hand, causing him to drop the dagger, and Ollie fell to the ground. Seizing the opportunity, Ollie dashed away from the man and ran towards Layla. After a few moments, The thieves realized that the battle was not in their favor, so they quietly withdrew among the trees. Ollie stood panting, trying to comprehend what had just happened. He turned to Layla, who was looking at him calmly, and said, "I think I owe you my life." Layla smiled and said, "I saved you today. But remember, the journey is still in its early stages, and we have many dangers ahead." Ollie looked at the dark forest before them and said, "I think I'm starting to understand what I've gotten myself into." Wisdom. True friendship begins when we overcome differences and unite in the face of danger.